Hello, Serge here for the Backyard Driving Range. All right, today I want to talk about what appears for many of you to be a very difficult move in the peak performance golf swing, which is the bump. All right, which is what starts the transition from the backswing to the forward upswing, which means the downswing and then swinging up to the finish, what I call all the forward upswing. Now, I will say that first and foremost, the bump is basically impossible to do if one is aiming a mile to the right. And anybody who's been to a golf lesson with me and anybody who's been to a golf school with me knows that predominantly all right-handers aim anywhere from 10 or 20 yards right to as much as 50, 60, and 100 or more right. And conversely, left for left-handers. Why? Because it's the optical illusion caused by parallax vision of when you stand here behind the ball looking at the target, you see a straight line, but when you stand here and have to turn your head, that line is no longer straight. It becomes elliptically curved from right to left, or left to right if you're a left-hander, okay? And if you're a right-hander, right-eye dominant, meaning your back eye is the dominant eye, you have to turn your head more to see it, then therefore that line gets even more curved. That's why you hear teachers on, or the announcers on TV say a lot of times when a right-hander has a right and left putt, they say, oh, that's better for them because they see right to left putts better, okay? That's that elliptical curve. Now, let me just talk about the bump. As we know, it's defined as a lateral left shift at the transition where you find your bell position right here, you put your arm there, that's your bell. When you're coming up, bing, you're going to hit it. Remember, this is a static position. So when I got the club swing and I'm coming up, it's going to go a little bit farther without me even having to try because the momentum of me lifting my arms and my body turning a little bit is going to go up higher. But when I ring that bell, bing, bang, that's what I call the Big Bang Theory. All right? And I was saying that before the show was on TV. Bing, bang, and that starts the bump. All right? Now, when you bump, it's a lateral left shift. So if I'm standing here and I've turned a little bit right here, the bump is not you come back to square and then bump. The thing is, I've turned a little bit right here. Now watch. If I'm standing here and I turn a little bit, it's all I turn. I'm still keeping my wide knees out with pressure. My left knee's moving maybe an inch. But you see where it's going? If I do this, if I'm doing this and I'm parallel left to that camera, and I come here and I do my little bit of turn, this club is basically pointing right at the camera. So if I were to turn back, see what happens? My whole body's turning to the left. I'll be coming out and over the ball. So once I make that little bit of turn, the bump is there, and then I turn. All right? So the bump is a lateral left shift from the point at which I made my minimal little turn in the backswing, and I bump there, and then I turn. And when you do that bump, what does that do? The hip goes this way, and that causes, as the lower body runs away, the upper body falls backwards a little bit, and that gives you the dipsy doodle where as soon as you go down, you come up. Just skip a rock on a lake. You're going to see it every time. But what's the big key here, folks? How much bump is really a good bump, means how much movement. Let's just take, for example, if you want to say your belt buckle or your belly button, most people think that the bump is a really big movement. So they get in here and they do this. Well, they bump. Well, so you see what just happened here? If I bump too much, I'm going outside of my left foot. I'm struggling to not fall down. The bump is only about an inch, maybe 2 at the most if you were to drive and the stance is a little bit wider. But it's only what it takes to get to the foot, to get to the say outside center of your left foot, where at that point, as soon as you're there and you bumped and then you're already turning real quick, you're standing up. So that's gonna stop you from going too far outside your left foot. So because when you're standing up and you're recoiling to here, you're swinging up to there and then recoiling, it's going to center you. Okay, so the bump is only a little bit of a move. It's not a big one. All right, so the critical thing about bumping is it can't really happen correctly and accurately to hit a ball toward the target unless you are aimed properly. Now, if I'm aimed a mile to the right and I bump, I'm going to either hit the ball a mile to the right, or if I do that and I start to move too much, I can get everything from tops to chops to everything. So alignment is critical. When your alignment gets better, your bump gets easier. But remember, the bump is not radical. It is just only about 1 inch move. Just stand here and just, what does it take to get from here to there? That's all it is. How much am I moving from here to there? How much is this moving? This is going that way, and this one's going that way. That little bit, and then up. The dipsy doodle, skip a rock. The bump is only about this much. Okay? So that's the key to bumping. Don't overdo it, or I should say, we don't ever speak in negatives. It's only 1 inch, 2 at the max. And make sure you're aligned properly. When you get the proper alignment and you got the right bump, you'll be hitting it much more crisp, solid, straight, and shooting those lower scores. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.